What's going on, y'all? It's Rob with Cinema Bullies. I'm going to talk about something today that, a group of people yesterday got in a very detailed and debatable conversation on a post. And some, big name people in the ABKC got involved in the conversation and talking about how, all these shows have been real inconsistent and they've been picking dogs over dogs that, have multiple flaws, even though they're more bully or more extreme or whatever the case is. And it brought up an interesting topic that I thought I was going to, get some good input on and good feedback on and see what you guys think about this. But, they got rid of the extreme class because they tried to combine the extreme class with standards in the pockets. We all know that hasn't changed. That is why they did that. And, the extreme class was just getting out of hand. So they tried to incorporate the extreme class with more correct dogs and more healthy dogs and, the overall, standard of the dog. Now, this new standard / pocket extreme type dog that most of those dogs are grand champions, and they are grand champions and they win shows, events, etc. because they are extreme style American bullies that have almost every attribute they need to be considered, almost perfect for the image of the American bully. Not saying that they are perfect, but they lack, very little. They have very few faults, if, anything's obvious, which from my point of view, a lot of these grand champion and extreme style dogs, almost every single one of them has a slightly high rear. But that's a minimum flaw in my eyes. Top line is hard to get. But I say minimal. Minimal, I mean half inch less than that of higher than its front shoulder. Dogs that got a slope on their back and a dip behind their shoulder, that's not what I'm talking about. That's ridiculous, and that dog shouldn't be shown. When their rear's, 2 to 4 inches higher than their front shoulder, that dog shouldn't be in the ring. So, now let me get to the fact that when you think of these extreme style dogs, how many come to mind? I got about 3 or 4 that come to my mind that hold the attributes that consider these dogs an extreme standard or extreme pocket with few faults. And I'm going to name these dogs because then you understand what I'm talking about. So let's start off with my favorite. Personally, I like Grand Champion Aaron. Then you got Grand Champion Samson. You got Grand Champion Blue. And you got Grand Champion Zero. Now, I've seen 3 of the 4 dogs in person. And are any of them perfect? No. Do they have faults? Yes. Mild ones, slight ones, and most of their faults in my opinion, come from their rear assembly, or their muzzle shape, head shape is not my preferable liking, but to each their own on that. So these style dogs are the closest to an extreme style dog that lacks very few attributes to make it a grand champion and the ideal representation of the breed. Now, see if anybody can answer me this. So out of those 4 dogs I named, how many of their litter mates or prior breedings or future breedings that were done had any puppies that looked like them or similar to them? I don't know of any. I never heard of any, never heard that, oh, this is so-and-so's litter mate. Because, like I said, those dogs, yes, they are almost perfect representations of the extreme style American Bully, but they are almost freak anomalies because it was 1 out of how many were in the litter? 1 out of 4, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 8. So those specific dogs pulled every great trait from their lineage and are what they are because of that. So my thing is, how can you expect that to be the standard when you're lucky to get one of those style dogs out of, we'll say 50 litters? Like, how can you expect the breed to turn into that, image of the American Bully? Are there dogs that are similar to them? Yes. But they lack 2 things, in my opinion. And you guys can agree or disagree, but I'll tell you that they lack width and bone. Those are the 2 things that these extreme style American Bullies have that the regular pockets and standards lack. Not saying they don't have, but they lack. They don't have as much. And that's where they get penalized at in the eyes of the judges, and which is why they seem to be picking these more extreme style dogs, even though they have way more faults, And that's what I don't understand. Because how can you justify width and bone, but then the dog it's competing against has everything else? Turn to stifle, gait, great angulation, great top line, straight feet, muscled up, bone, great outside shoulder, great head shape, but then loses just because the other dog has, a little bit more bone and more width, but can't move, can't breathe, turn to stifle's terrible, rears high, straight stifles, whatever the case is. And it's all obvious. Like, it's not like it's like, you could barely tell. And that's what is frustrating a lot of people in the rings, especially when you see a dog with a rear that's 4 inches higher than its front shoulder and it's beating your dog, that the only thing that your dog is lacking is width and some bone. It just doesn't make sense. Because how can you justify 2 things to beat a dog that has the other, 7 or 8 things that they need to be looking at to make their overall decision. So judges, need to seem, they got to be more accountable for their choices and more of an explanation of why your dog lost. Not that, it just lacked substance, or it lacked bone, or, I just like the other dog better. Well, it's not about what you like. It's about the standard. You're judging the standard. However many points you have to look at is what you're judging. So that's what, is frustrating a lot of people in the ring and the people that are watching. Because they're like, why am I going to go spend my money and waste my time if I'm going to lose against those that look like a train wreck? So, hope this helped you guys understand what I mean by the extreme standard, extreme pocket style dogs, and what it seems to be, these people that are high up in this, bully game and the ABKC are looking for, and what they want the standard to be. But it's going to take even more years of correct breeding to get that standard that they want to be the image of the American bully. It's going to take, another 10 years. And that's with breeding done right, not scatter breeding and, outcrossing and, just doing breeding that don't make sense just to chase money. If you want that style dog to be, more common, you have to do the breedings correctly. And you have to figure out, why those dogs turned out the way they were. Look at their lineage. Look at what traits they pulled from in that dog's lineage. And then try to breed to something in that lineage to see if it proves your theory correct. This is all about trial and error. So you have to try to succeed, or you try, you fail, and then you got to come back and do it again. And that's what real breeders and bully people or dog people do when they breed. So, hope this helped you guys understand, a little bit more. And like to hear some feedback. Let me know if you know any other litter mates of these dogs that I don't know about. And if you do, comment them below and I'll look them up and see. And see if they're, almost as clean as them, or if they're all faulted up and they just have that extreme bully, look. But then have, 4 or 5 faults. So, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, share. Let me know what you guys think. Gonna have a very interesting interview with one and only Dave Wilson, hopefully coming up next month in VA. So a lot of questions are going to be brought to the world's attention through the guy that started it all, and then hopefully we all have a better perspective of where we're going with this breed, what he thinks of what's happening, and hopefully how we can all come together and, do right by the breed and stop all this, money chasing over the preservation of the breed. So, take care, guys. I'll see you guys soon.